America has now reached a grim milestone that early on in the pandemic had been thrown around as well, it could never get that bad, right? Sort of thing. Well, we've passed, in the official count, 500,000 coronavirus deaths, or will by the time you're watching this video, 500,000. And that is, of course, the official number. God only knows, and we'll be the only one who will ever know, because we'll never know how many people have actually died and weren't registered, especially early on, as deaths from coronavirus. But President Biden is gonna be holding a moment of silence this evening for the Americans who have died of coronavirus, 500,000. He had, before his inauguration day, he held a lighting ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial to honor those who had died at that point. Biden is committed to vaccinating at least 100 million people in his first 100 days in office. And they're now saying that they expect that they will beat that by a good bit, which is great for the future. But nothing we do now is gonna bring back that 500,000, rapidly approaching this American Civil War death toll. And we're gonna give you updates on some of the numbers, but we talked about this so much that I just thought it was important that we take a moment to recognize that despite all of the national attention on this, the constant pointing out of all the mistakes that were being made, all of it designed to limit how many would die, it all failed. Except against some sort of hypothetical where 2 million people died, I guess. But we failed. As a nation, we failed. As a society, we failed. As a media looking to hold politicians accountable and influence their behavior, we failed. And 500,000 Americans died as a result of all of that failure from top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, the one difference I will say, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like I do feel like the major difference, because I haven't seen that much concrete difference between Trump and Biden, but the one small difference is acknowledging that 500,000 people have died, acknowledging that these are real lives and real people, that these are real losses. And I have to say that lighting ceremony, as someone who's lost family to coronavirus, was very touching and like meant something to me. And I think we should be marking these milestones. It is important. And I know that folks are saying, okay, well, there's the vaccine rollout and he's trying. I understand that he's inherited a really desperate situation. I'm of the mind that we, even with the vaccine, are not doing all that we can to stop the spread of coronavirus from a federal level. I think that we are, we're looking at Texas and sort of like pointing at how deregulated and unprepared they are for natural disasters. The United States is the Texas of the world, okay? Y'all have to understand that that's how we look and that's how we behave, which is each person for themselves. It is a highly and bizarrely individualistic culture. There is no infrastructural for health or for communities, right? Like this is a dog eat dog country. It is a sink or swim. The market comes first and your lives come second. And we have shown that over every single month of this pandemic, including this month of Biden, right? I mean, I think some basic steps like travel restrictions, real restrictions, not just suggestions, real restrictions so that we don't keep these new variants from spreading all over the country. Those have not been implemented, right? Because of course, airlines come first and money making comes first and people's ability to go to Cancun comes first. So it's a reckoning, you guys. If Texas is a reckoning, if what's happening in Texas is a reckoning for that state, what's happened with us in this country with COVID is a reckoning for how we approach things like disasters, plagues, and just general levels of caring.
Yeah, and like with Texas, they're now saying that they will, do something about it. And we're gonna be talking about Texas later on, but it remains to be seen. And you hope, like, I don't know if it's sort of a core part of progressivism or if it's something that's just sort of tangentially related, but like at least, whatever I am, I wanna live in a world where we care to know what is true, that we will pay attention to keep tabs on what is true. And based on what happens, what actually happens, there will be effects, there will be consequences. And like Texas is and obviously a big failure. Coronavirus is a failure, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times bigger.
Yeah.
And what consequences were there after all that? Like, remember, how many times during the first couple of months was there these constant conversations about how bad is it gonna be? Well, they say maybe it'll be 80,000, but now they're saying, well, it's just gonna be 80,000. It's not gonna be 200,000. So Trump is doing a good job because you guys said it might be this, but now it's just gonna be this. It would never be that. Oh wait, now it's that, but it could have hypothetically been higher. And like nobody early on, no matter what they might say now, and they won't say anything because they don't have to. They can just not talk about it. Like Biden is acknowledging this. Fox News isn't gonna give a damn about this. Nobody was like, Tucker Carlson wasn't like on day one, well, if Trump keeps it to 500,000, I guess he did a good job. Nobody said that. The goalposts have continually been shifted, bowled over by an ever expanding mountain of corpses. And yet, he's never apologized. Fox News has never apologized for spreading misinformation or actively encouraging people to take up as their political identity, not caring about this crisis. Trump lost re-election, maybe because of that. That's true. That's a consequence. So they lost control of the Senate. Maybe that's a consequence too. But those are the two. That's like it. Maybe Perdue and Loeffler because of their profiteering during it. Maybe that contributed to their loss. But what else, like to the scale of the disaster, the tragedy, the failure, not getting reelected and maybe coming back in 4 years and winning then, that's the best we can do as a society?
No. And I think you're absolutely right. There has to be accountability, especially if we're talking about accountability for January 6th, which we should, a 9/11 commission style commission for what happened on that day. And I know there's new information even coming out today about like the Secret Service potentially being involved. Then let's do that with COVID. We absolutely need to do that with COVID. Who got the government contracts, right? Where were those that random dude who was supposed to fly a bunch of N95 masks in from China or wherever? Like there were schemes upon grifts, and there needs to be accountability. Not to mention people who got the PPP loans who did not need them, who did not save jobs, like Jared Kushner. Let's say it again, right? Like so, there has to be an accounting. You're absolutely right. I mean, it is like, we need recovery time from this presidency just to take stock. Like I know we have to get going, do stuff, but you're right. I don't want in 4 years for these same goons to come back and pretend like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I feel like we need like a truth and reconciliation thing for that entire year.
Yeah,
and we need to decide as a country, are we going to have any line that once you pass it with your either failure or your willfully not caring, where it becomes a crime? Can you fail so that 100,000 people died who didn't need to, 200,000 people died that didn't need to? Like, or is that just going to be acceptable? Because we talk as like lefties about like, hey, like if the president orders a drone strike against an American citizen, shouldn't that be a crime? But like, do you know how hard it's gonna be to get like that to have consequences if you can kill 100,000 Americans without consequences? Anyway, I know that to some extent we're relitigating stuff that we've been talking about for a solid year now, but especially with hitting 500,000, and God only knows by the time we're out of this, is it 600? Is it 700? Is it 800,000? We've hit 500. Are you confident that we won't double that? I feel pretty good, but we will see.
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to say you're absolutely right. I think that every single life that we could do so much more. I'm glad the vaccine is rolling out. We can still do more, and I don't think 200,000 more lives is worth it at all. It's not worth my so-called freedom to be able to fly all over the world or whatever. Like, I don't even. We're still inside. You know what I mean? Vaccinate teachers, just do or not. I don't know. Like it's like there's a Rubicon that Americans won't cross over, which is the market gods must win. People have to go to work, and essential workers will die, including maybe teachers and kids.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.